Things are about to get insane. And yes, that overused pun was necessary because, come on, who's this about? Hey everyone, I'm your only mate, and it's time for part 3 of this What If. Ever since as far back as the Yellow trailer, we've all compared Yang to Super Saiyans in Dragon Ball. So, what if Yang actually was a Saiyan? I mean, she basically turned, well, overall the same personality-wise, just a little bit stronger, which helped out Team RWBY massively. And we also learned in the last part that Yang still has questions about her heritage, because she's a faunus, her sister is a human, her mother is a human, her dad's a human. That's gonna pose some questions. Team RWBY got Torchwood put away like it did in the original story, and Ironwood is actually skeptical about keeping Yang around after finding out what a Saiyan is, because he analysed the pod, found files, and all that stuff. But now it's time to see how this would all affect Volume 3. Now, I did wait a little while before recording this because I wanted to wait for the RWBY manga to come out. I finally got it, read through it, so yeah, I'm happy I waited, actually. Anyway, let's get started. So, like in the original, the Vytal Festival tournament is coming up, and Yang is absolutely excited. All these strong teams, coming up from all over Remnant to fight each other. Oh, she's really getting into it. She still does her training with the Torchwick and Neo dolls. That was a thing in the RWBY manga. I'm happy I waited for that. Now, just like in the original story, RWBY go on to beat Team RWBY in the first round. Again, plays out about the same. Blake takes out Reese by herself, and then all of Team RWBY take out the other three, finishing them off with the Bumblebee combo move. Turns out Yang's quite fond of that one, especially given how close she is to Blake this time around. And there was a thing in the manga about that whole move. I'm just saying. Sure enough, just like in the original, Team Juniper go on to beat Team Bronze, and Team Sun go on to beat Team Indigo. Fast forward to when Winter arrives at Beacon, and her and Crow have their little fight. But of course, they are still stopped by Ironwood. Osborn, Crow, Glenda, and Ironwood, they have their little discussion about how the Beacon infiltrators are the ones responsible for Amber's condition. Oh, and why Ironwood has brought his fleet with him to the school. And while all this is going on, Cinder's virus does still hack Ironwood's scroll. That's gonna become more important later. Now, with that said, back to the tournament. We got the 2v2 rounds. Now, of course, Emerald and Mercury versus Coco and Yatsuhashi does turn out about the same, with Emerald and Mercury winning. After that, it's Penny versus Russell and Sky. Now, yes, I know that CL was there with Penny, but let's face it, from what we saw in the original, it was just all Penny. Now, next up, we have Weiss and Yang versus Flint and Neon. And that plays out just about the same, with Yang going off to fight Neon, getting frustrated because, Neon's calling her, top heavy, bottom heavy, all that sort of stuff. And Weiss goes on to fight Flint. Now, of course, we do get this moment when Weiss sacrifices herself to try and save Yang. But this time, Flint is eliminated, and Weiss is still in the fight. Thanks to her training with, Saiyan, Yang, and the rest of Team RWBY, Weiss is actually a lot tougher this time around, and she's able to take out Flint. So now we have Weiss and Yang versus Neon, and Neon, you're screwed. Now for this fight, I was thinking maybe we could get a start off with a freezer burn combo move, freeze the ring, create mist, Neon's all confused, wondering where they are, and they're just zooming all around her. All of a sudden, a gravity dust glyph freezes Neon in place, so she can't get away, and then Yang comes in with one devastating punch, sending her flying out of the ring. That would have been cool. And of course, Yang is advancing to the singles rounds. I mean, she was in the original, so. Later that night, Cinder comes across some files based on what she's been finding on Ironwood's scroll. And yes, she does come across Penny's blueprints, but then she finds another file. This one is about Yang, containing stuff about her pod, the Saiyans, all that stuff, so Cinder knows. Oh boy. This could be a problem. Now, just like in the original story, it is time for Osborn to pick a candidate to be the next full maiden. And I know some people might be thinking, could he possibly choose Yang this time around? Well, the idea might come up, but then there's the whole thing of would she even get the maiden powers, because, she's not native to Remnant, so it might not work. Like, they don't know. Also, there's how Ironwood is a bit distrustful of Yang, so yeah, their choice is still Pyrrha. Now, just like in the original, they do give Pyrrha time to think all this through. And while she's struggling with that, we got the singles rounds. Starting off with Yang versus Mercury. It goes the exact same, Yang wins. After winning, Yang says better luck next time and starts to walk away. Then she hears Mercury say, "There's not gonna be a next time, Saiyan." Now this confuses Yang, but then she just sees Mercury coming to attack her, so she punches him in the leg in self-defense. And we all know where this is going. Remember, just because Yang's a Saiyan doesn't mean she's not susceptible to illusions. Part of the reason why Neo beat her. Guards surround her, tell her to stand down, only this time they're a bit more aggressive under Ironwood's command. Because remember, he was always kind of worried about this sort of thing happening. Now we're back at the Team RWBY dorm, and Ironwood's scolding Yang and telling her that Team RWBY are disqualified. This time around he's a bit harsher, because this is basically the thing he feared, and it seems like it's coming true. Now all of that, combined with, the inevitable Blake saying that she wants to believe her, I think Yang would actually be a bit more upset this time around than she was in the original story. But of course, we get the whole, look me in the eye and tell me that you didn't do it. Yeah, that whole thing plays out. And, they all know that Yang wouldn't really do something like that. Okay, from this point, Volume 3 plays out just about the same. The only real change here is that when Crow and Yang have their talk, no one brings up Raven. Because remember, she's not Yang's mother this time. And, well, Yang didn't see her in Volume 2, it was Blake and Weiss that saved her from Neo. RWBY makes her way to the tournament grounds to see Emerald in the stands. What's going on here? Then she finds Mercury still there and still walking. He's not injured at all. And the next match is Penny versus Pyrrha. I think we know how this goes. Thanks to Emerald using her semblance to cast illusions on Pyrrha's mind, Penny is unfortunately still killed. Cinder begins her announcement to cast distrust on the world leaders of Remnant. And during this announcement, Cinder brings up the file she found on Yang, along with images of her pod, of her, and tells the citizens of Remnant that those they trust to keep them safe have been hiding a destructive alien amongst them for over a decade now. Uh-oh. Now this revelation shocks everyone, especially Yang. Yang doesn't want to believe this, and her friends can't believe it. I think Yang would pretty much be on the verge of a breakdown right here. But that's gonna have to wait, because panic from the people, as we know, attracts Grim, and the Battle of Beacon begins. Now I think it would be this mass panic, the Grim attacking, plus a phone call from Blake, which is what would get Yang out of her trance and, to get herself up and go to help everyone. So Yang's on her way to meet up with Weiss and Blake. RWBY goes to face Torchwick head on. Everyone else, well, aside from Oobleck and Port, in the arena head to Beacon. Ironwood crashes into the city and coincidentally meets up with Crow and Glinda. Pyrrha has made her decision to be the next full maiden, and Blake finds Adam. I'm just going to go through everything one at a time, so that I'm not cutting back and forth between so much stuff. It's just a bit easier on me that way. That's going to be important in parts 4 and 5. Velvet uses her weapon to take down the Paladin along with Weiss to summon, and yeah, you know how that plays out. Yang arrives at the scene, asks Weiss where's Blake, and Weiss tells her that Blake went after an Alpha, and also some members of the White Fang. So Yang rushes to get to her side and help her out. Osborn, Pyrrha, and Jean make their way down to the vault so they can transfer what's left of the Maiden Power to Pura from, well, Amber. Cinder shows up, kills Amber, becomes the new Full Maiden, and kills Ozpin while Pura and Jean escape. Now, Ruby's able to put up a better fight against Roman and Neo this time around, but you know how that plays out. Neo flies off the ship, Torchwick does his whole, I'm gonna do this and this, and then gets eaten. The ship goes down, and all of the Atlas bots along with it. Now it's time for the big change in the Battle of Beacon, and something I've been looking forward to since I started this What If. Blake stops Adam from killing someone, but Adam knocks her back, and unfortunately, that plays out about the same, because I still don't believe Blake was fighting at her best in that moment, so I'm not sure if she would be here. Adam tells her that he will make it his mission to destroy everything she loves, starting with Yang, who's just arrived there looking for Blake. As you'd expect, Adam stabs Blake, she cries out in pain, and that gets Yang's attention. Yang looks over to see one of her closest friends on the ground, impaled, and she shouts to Adam, "Get away from her." As Blake lays there on the ground, holding her hand up, saying, "No, please," Yang leaps at Adam to attack, and Adam cuts her arm off. Yeah, unfortunately, Yang being insane doesn't stop that from happening, because Adam did basically plan that whole thing, and, Yang rushing in like that probably wasn't the best call. However, this time, when Yang hits the ground, she's not unconscious. She's still trying to pull herself up. Adam walks over to her, ready to finish the job, but as you'd expect, Blake throws herself in front of Yang to protect her. Adam does his whole thing of, "Why must you hurt me, Blake?" But before he can go in for that slash that very nearly gave me a heart attack first time I watched it, something knocks him back. To both Adam and Blake's surprise, it was Yang. She got back up and kicked Adam away. Only a little bit. While this does frustrate Adam a little, he's also a little impressed. Still got some fight in you, do ya? Yang is absolutely furious right now. She's just filled with rage. But she can feel something else happening to her. She doesn't know what, but she feels herself getting stronger. All the while, Blake is telling her to, stop, get back, that sort of thing. Yang says to Adam, "I told you." Looks right at him, and then shouts, "Get away from her," screams, and the entire room fills with a blinding yellow light. So, Adam and Blake gotta shield their eyes for a while. Once the light fades, Blake and Adam uncover their eyes, and Yang has changed. Her eyes have turned a shade of blue, her hair and her tail have turned gold, and she's surrounded by a fiery yellow aura. Yang has become a Super Saiyan. Although she's not gonna know that's what that is. She gives Adam a look, kind of similar to the look Goku gave Frieza when he turned Super Saiyan for the first time, and we know how cool that look looked. All Adam can say is, "What the?" But before he can even finish that, Yang dashes to him, punches him in the gut, forcing him to spit some blood, and sends him flying out of there, going right through a wall, completely shattering it, and his aura is gone, so he's out of the Battle of Beacon. Afterwards, Yang returns to her base form and passes out. After all, Super Saiyan isn't something that her body would be used to right now. Well, that combined with the fact she just lost an arm. So just like in the original, Blake picks up Yang and carries her to safety so they can both get treated. Now, I do want to address, I did think of this scenario playing a little differently. Perhaps Yang sees Adam, turns Super Saiyan right away, and then just beats the crap out of him. But at the same time, I also thought, how badass would a Saiyan losing their arm, going super despite that, and then one-showing the dude that cut their arm off? That would be awesome! So basically, from this point onwards, Volume 3 turns out relatively the same. Sorry, Pura. Pura loses to Cinder and dies, and Ruby uses her Silver Eyes for the first time. The same day, Yang unlocks something, and Ruby unlocks something. Neat. And of course, when Ruby wakes up, that plays out just about as you'd expect it as well. She finds out about the Silver Eyes, what happened to Beacon. Of course, she does still go to see Yang, and Yang informs RWBY about what happened to Weiss and Blake, that Weiss's father came to take her away, and unfortunately Blake still ran. Now, all of this, combined with the fact that Yang has pretty much just found out that her whole life is a lie, that she's not what she always thought she was, yeah, her world is kind of upside down right now. So, if you thought she was upset after Volume 3 in the original story, well then. She tells RWBY that she just wants to be alone, wiping some tears out of her eyes, and RWBY leaves, but before she does, she just tells Yang, I love you. And you know how that plays out. Oh, and yes, before anyone asked, Yang did in fact receive a Zenkai boost from the end of Volume 3, because she did almost die. Sure enough, RWBY leaves to go to Mistral with Jean, Ren, and Nora. But unbeknownst to them, Crow is still following them, under Yang's request. Now, I am going to add a little scene here, because I feel like this would happen. After everything that's going on, and, RWBY leaving, I believe Sun would visit Yang. Because remember, they have a closer friendship this time around. And, Sun did have a bit of a thing for her. And what did Sun say about himself? That he goes where he's needed. And I feel like he would feel that Yang needs, a friend at the moment. I also feel like during his visits, he would visit more than once. Sun would try to talk to Yang about Blake, but Yang wouldn't want to. However, Sun would persist and, even come up with reasons as to why she may be left. He doesn't get it right, like we found out in the original. Yang isn't too happy about this, but at the same time, Sun is helping her gain, a bit more perspective. Now, don't get me wrong, Yang is still mad, but, she's getting there. Slowly. Just like she did in the original story, only the ball started rolling a little bit sooner. Thanks to Sun. He's a good boy like that. This all leads to Sun revealing why he's been bringing up Blake in his visits. Turns out he's been keeping an eye on her as well, and he knows she's going to be leaving Vytal. He doesn't know where she's going, but she knows something's up. He wants to make sure that, Blake is okay as well, but he doesn't want to leave Yang alone without, at least saying anything. Now, I feel like, again, thanks to Sun, and, the fact that even though Yang is mad at Blake, she does still care about her. Yang takes a deep breath, looks at Sun, and tells him, go. Just promise you'll keep her safe. Sun has no intention of breaking this promise. Him and Yang hug goodbye, and with that, Sun is off to go with Blake to Menagerie. Now, with her friends and her sister gone, Yang's all alone. Well, I mean, she does still have Taiyan's Why. But there is something that Yang is going to be doing. She's going to be training. Well, why is she going to be training? Well, think about it. At the Battle of Beacon, she found out there's a new level of strength for her. Her Saiyan instincts kick in. She has her sights set on tapping into this newfound power. Also, I feel like it would serve as a bit of a distraction for, everything that's going on. Now, I'm sure some people might be asking, is Yang still going to get the robo-arm? Yes, she is. Now, yes, Ironwood may have been skeptical of Yang, her whole life, but I feel like seeing that she lost an arm, defending Beacon and the people of Remnant, even after finding out, all the stuff that he knew, well, minus the Great Ape thing, of course. I feel like Ironwood may come around to it. That combined with Tai still has favors he can call in, so Yang's still going to get the robo-arm in part 4, which is where this story will continue. So with that, what did you think? Did you like this part? Could Yang control Super Saiyan in the future? How will everyone's training with Yang affect their individual stories? Well, we'll have to wait and see. I am going to be waiting a little bit before I update this particular scenario, because I do want to get some other what ifs out there. I have one in mind. Not sure when I'll get to recording that. I still haven't written it yet, but another one is coming. And it's not based on anyone in Team RWBY. So keep an eye out for that. Also, there's something new coming to the channel. I'm not going to say what exactly, but if you're interested in, still RWBY content from me, then there's something coming. Now, like I say in all my videos, thanks for watching, all of that stuff, and because it's so appropriate, here's my Goku outro. Bye.
Hey guys, Goku here. You're watching Your Only Mate. And your only mate is only good for the fact that at least he won't eat as much of your food. Catch you later.